Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on Google Search. We're going to skip all the super complex jargon and algorithms and get right to the stuff that actually matters. The simple principles that can help your content get the attention it absolutely deserves.
So, you ever have that feeling? You pour your heart and soul into creating something online. A website, a blog, a store. You hit publish, you're so excited, and then crickets. It's one of the most frustrating things. But understanding how people find things online, that is the first step to fixing it for good.
To really get a handle on all this, let's use a simple metaphor that makes everything click. Just imagine that Google is the biggest, most incredible library in the history of the world. And your website? It's a book. And you are the author trying to get it a prime spot right on the main shelf.
Okay, so let's dive into this giant library. Now, to get your book noticed, you don't need to know any secret handshakes or weird tricks. Nope. You just need to understand the library's main rules. And Google actually has a name for these. They call them Search Essentials. Think of the Google Search Essentials as basically the library's official rule book. They're the core ideas that figure out if your book is even allowed inside the library in the first place, and maybe more importantly, how likely the librarians are to recommend it to curious readers.
And this rulebook? It's really just broken down into 3 simple parts. First, the technical stuff. Is your book printed in a way that the library can actually read it? Second, the spam policies. Are you following the code of conduct, or are you trying to cheat the system? And third, and this is the fun part, the key best practices. This is all about how you write a book that everyone wants to read.
Let's start with those technical requirements. In our library metaphor, this is all about making sure your book is printed correctly. The pages aren't stuck together, the ink is clear, and it's in a format the library can actually stack on a shelf.
And here's the great news. You can probably stop worrying about this part right now. Seriously, most modern website builders and platforms, they handle all of this stuff for you automatically. So unless you've done something really unusual to hide your site, your book is already printed just fine.
All right, next up, the library's code of conduct. Just like you can't go shouting in a real library or, stuffing ads into other people's books, Google has a list of spam policies. They're there to stop people from gaming the system.
And what's really interesting here is how clear the line is. The librarians, that's Google, they love helpful, original content that's made for actual people. What gets you kicked out of the library? Trying to trick them with stuff like hidden text, auto-generated gibberish, or anything else that's just trying to manipulate the ranking.
And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. Google says it directly. If you just focus on creating the best possible content and experience for your human readers, you're already playing by the most important rule. The whole system is built to reward that.
Which, of course, brings us to the most important section of all, how to actually write a bestseller. This is where we move from just being in the library to being the book that everybody is checking out.
So, what makes a great book? Well, it has to be helpful, it has to be reliable, and it has to be genuinely people first. And, this is critical, you have to think about how readers actually find books. This means using the words they would actually type into a search bar, especially in your titles and your headings. It's about being clear, not just clever, and always writing for a person, not a machine.
Let's just pause on that for a second. Really think about it. Put yourself in your audience's shoes. What specific words, what phrases would they type into Google if they were looking for exactly what you have to offer?
I mean, this is such a perfect example of the crucial point here. You might have invented a revolutionary artisanal canine hydration vessel, but your customers, they're just searching for the best dog water bowl. You have to use the language of your audience, not your marketing team. It's the difference between being found and being totally invisible.
Okay, so you've done it. You've written a fantastic book. You're using language that your readers actually understand. Now, the final step is to make it as easy as possible for the librarian, for Google, to find your book, understand what it's about, and recommend it to all the right people.
So how do you help the librarian? It really boils down to 3 key things. 1, give them a clear table of contents. On a website, that just means your links are clear and logical, so Google can follow them and find all your pages. 2, add great illustrations, your images and videos, and make sure you label them clearly. And 3, get good reviews.
And that last point, getting good reviews, that's all about getting the word out.
Word of mouth is so powerful. When other people start talking about your book and linking to it from their own sites, it's a huge signal to the librarian that this is a valuable resource that people are genuinely excited about. So don't be shy. Share what you've made.
So after all this, after writing a great book, following the rules, helping the librarian, what's the fee? How much do you have to pay to get your book into the biggest library in the world? Well, the answer is zero. And this brilliantly illustrates the most amazing thing about how all of this works.
That's right. It costs nothing. Zero. Zilch. You don't pay for a spot on the shelf. The only currency that actually matters in this library is the quality and the helpfulness of your content. It's a level playing field where the best ideas really can win.
So with all that in mind, the only real question left to ask is this. Your content is your book. It's your story. Now that you know the rules of the library, what's the first step you're going to take to turn it into a bestseller?